It is that seat of bliss. Yat, that Param Brahma, that Brahma, Brihattamatvat Brahma means that big, that Brahma, Ahameva, that Brahman is me. So again, the purpose of these indicators are to keep making the mind subtler, 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 so that we are able to slowly go beyond. Now, one might ask the question, what are we meant to do with these indicators? You're giving us so many indicators on Brahman. What are we really meant to do with it? So now verse 37 makes everything very clear and brings this all together. Okay? Evam nirantarabhyasta Brahmaivasmiti vasana Haratya vidya vikshepan Roga nivarasayanam Evam nirantarabhyasta Brahmaivasmiti vasana Haratya vidya vikshepan Roga nivarasayanam. Eva, in this way. In what way? In the way all of the indicators were given, in that way, nirantara abhyasta, practiced constantly. What should be practiced constantly? Brahma eva aham asmi, that I am Brahman. This vasana should be practiced. Why? Harati, it will take away avidya vikshepan, this ignorance and agitations, like how rogan iva, just like how diseases are taken away by rasayana, medicine. So now let's look at this. When a student comes, I hope you remember sadhana chatushtaya from AtmaBodha. When a student comes with qualities to the feet of a teacher, what the student does is shravanam. Now in shravanam, what happens? They do shravanam of who they really are, of their true nature. And in shravanam itself, knowledge is given. When the teacher, by the power of the guru, if the mind of the student is very, very pure, that knowledge is given that I am Atma. You get that. Now, but what happens with that knowledge? Sometimes there's doubts. You know, like, how can I be Atma? How is it possible? So then a lot of mananam is given. Mananam or reflection to remove doubts. And so slowly that knowledge which was gained in Shravanam becomes clear. It becomes clearer when we keep doing Shravanam, when we keep doing Mananam, when we keep analyzing these things, it becomes clearer. But one has to ask the question, is that enough? Is it enough? Where you've gained the knowledge in Shravanam, you made it really clear in Mananam, you've resolved your doubts, whatever doubts you had, you resolved it. Is that enough? It's not enough. You know why? Because there are still some erroneous notions that linger. These erroneous notions are called viparita bhavanas. They are contrary notions. So even if I know I am Atma, I still feel like I am Jiva. Even if I know I am not the body, I still feel like I am the body. Even if I know I am not the mind, I feel like I am the mind. Even if I know that this world is just an appearance, I feel like it's really true and I feel like I'm going through bondage. Even if I heard I'm Nitya Mukta, I feel so incredibly bound. So what we will find is even after hearing this knowledge for a long time, you know, we could be going to a lot of talks, a lot of satsangas, and we've also done enough thinking, still we don't actualize it. as though there is a block in that knowledge, as though it's undigested. You know, like when we're sitting here, you take it in, but then after you go out, you know, it doesn't digest fully in the system. It's as though there's a block for that knowledge to become transformation, for that knowledge to become our daily living or our daily practice. So how do we remedy that? What do we do? The solution for this in our Shastra is called Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means contemplating on these indicators which we saw. Nirgunaha, Nishkriyaha, Nitya, all of this, Nirmala, Niranjana. You pick one that you feel sits with you, that you feel you can really relate to, and you sit down and you contemplate on that. That is called Nididhyasana. So Nididhyasana, what is it? It's the process of contemplating on these indicators as one's own self, not as something else. Not there is something nirmala, there's something nitya. Process of contemplating on these indicators as one's own self. Why Nididhyasana? Because we're trying to make this thought a vasana. A vasana means a deep-seated impression. Now just think of how strong aham deha vasana is. I'm the body vasana. How strong is that? Or aham jiva vasana. How strong is that? It's so deep and it's so strong. So what happens is, my knowledge is coming at this level, conscious level, but at the subconscious level, my vasanas are so strong. So when I am in Nididhyasana, that knowledge becomes a vasana. That aham brahmasmi becomes a vasana. It becomes deeper. It percolates into my whole entire system, into my whole entire being. Therefore, it's able to get rid of those previous erroneous notions. So, when I sit down and I contemplate, that vritti or that thought becomes really deep-seated. Now, what is the nature of that contemplation? Abhyasta. Abhyasta means it is a practice, it's an abhyasa. What's the nature of that abhyasa? So there is a sutra. Sa tu dirgha kala. Means it has to be done for a long time. Don't think after 2-3 days of Nididhyasana everything is over. It doesn't work like that. It has to be done for a long time. And as I mentioned to you before, it's not like you can sit down and put an alarm, okay, in 20 minutes I'm going to get up. Then what are you going to think about? You're just going to think about your alarm. Is my alarm ringing yet? Or did I forget to set my alarm? Or what's happening? How come it's going too long? Dirgha kala means when you sit, don't sit with any agenda. Just sit. Please sit. Just sit. Sit like you're just sitting to contemplate, and that's it. The minute I have some other agenda, I have to go do this after, I have to go there, then your contemplation is not going to be on Brahman, for sure. It's just not. So wake up early enough and just sit. This is called Dirgha Kala. Now one might wonder, but sometimes when I sit, my mind gets distracted. It goes all over the place. You're telling me Niranjana, Niranjana. I can't even mention that name. I can't even think of that name. Just sit. That's all. Just even practice that habit of sitting. Even if I can't sit for 20 minutes, sit for 5 minutes. The important thing is just sit. Just cultivate that habit of every day, sit. Because, listening, shravanam and mananam, it's not enough. You yourself will see. And you yourself tell me if it's enough. How long we've been listening. How long we've been doing mananam. Still, our vasanas are way too deep-seated. So this contemplation has to become deep within us. So even if it's hard, just do it. And gradually what will happen after 5 minutes, after practicing for 5 minutes, you want to do it for 10 minutes. then you want to do it 15 minutes. So as time progresses, your practice, my practice, will get deeper. And actually you'll start to enjoy it. You'll start to want to do it. You'll start to say, okay, when can I sit quietly now? So it must be dirghakala. Sit long time. No agenda. Then it must be nairantarya. Nairantarya means what? Without any breaks. So sometimes now, like we have holiday break, this break, that break. What's the first thing to go whenever we have breaks? Our sadhana or our spiritual practice. Not food. Food will always be there. Comfort will always be there. But the first thing that will go when I don't have enough time is my daily sadhana. Which is, actually that's the foundation of my whole day. If my sadhana is strong, I can face anything, I can face anyone, I can do anything. But if my sadhana is weak, I'll be crushed. I'll be beat up here and there, affected by every single thing, going up and down. So nairantarya, that even if there are breaks, even if I'm traveling, even if something is happening, still make it a point to find time to sit. If we're finding time to eat, you better be sure that you find time for your spiritual practice. You can do without eating. I can do without eating also. We can all do without it. But we cannot do without our spiritual practice. That is a must. That's a non-negotiable. You know in your companies you have a non-negotiable? That's a non-negotiable. You can't go, you can't sacrifice that. And it must be satkara. Means there's a deep reverence for the practice. So it must be in a clean place, a clean environment. It is meaningful to you. It is something that you revere. It's something that you respect. It's something that's holy. When practiced this way, asevita, dridha bhumi, that abidance in knowledge comes. So that knowledge that you gained in Shravana, that clarity that you gained in Manana, guess what happens when I engage in Nididhyasana? That abidance comes. That abidance in that knowledge becomes firm. So those erroneous notions, they become so weak. Those notions of I'm a jiva, I'm a body, I'm a mind. And my understanding of I am Brahman is very strong. And it's not hypnosis. It's not that I'm trying to tell myself I am Brahman. It's a fact. I am Brahman. All I'm trying to do is I am trying to contemplate on this fact. Because for so many lives, I've been contemplating on error. So now, I'm just coming home to who I am. And it's a very personal time for you. It's your time with God. So this must be done. When this is done, harati avidya vikshepan. Vikshepan means those erroneous notions created by ignorance. Those notions of I'm a doer, I'm an enjoyer, or I am Shubhani, or I am this limited individual. Those erroneous notions are destroyed. Because sometimes even if you know you're Brahman, still you feel these erroneous notions. So even those erroneous notions get destroyed. So don't just stop at understanding. That's not enough. It's just not enough. Go to the depth of contemplation. Sit quietly. Be by yourself. Have reverence for that practice. And that will take away the vikshepa. Like how Adi Shankaracharya ji always gives examples to us, right? He says, Rogan iva rasayana. So just like that disease is cured by medicine. Now here you have to think of Ayurvedic kashaya. Don't think about Tylenol. Ayurvedic kashaya, how many of you had this kashaya? Right? Kashaya, first of all, it tastes so bitter. You don't want to drink it. Yeah? So just how kashayam tastes so bitter, contemplation at first seems so bitter. We don't want to do it. And this kashayam has to be taken Dirgha Kala. Ayurvedic treatment is not for 1 week. Ayurvedic treatment is for 3 months, 6 months. So this contemplation is also for Dirgha Kala. In this Ayurvedic Kashayam, without breaks, every day they'll say 101 after food, before food, all of these things they will say. Without any break, we have to do it. The same way, our contemplation is without any break. And what else about the Kashayam? You have to have Satkara. You have to believe in it. If you don't believe in that Ayurvedic medicine, it will not heal. Right? You have to have that belief in that medicine. The same way, we have to have that reverence in this contemplation. And then only that Kashayam cures your disease. And where it cures your disease from? The roots. It goes into the root. It's not a band-aid thing like a Tylenol or an Advil. So this contemplation will cure it from the root. It will uproot that whole erroneous notion. That is called Nididhyasana. So this is what is to be done. That's why so many indicators are spoken of. First of all, you might think the same indicators are saying, first of all, to keep our mind in that. Then slowly, slowly to get us to contemplate in that. Now, Adi Shankaracharya ji very beautifully is going to say, who is it who can contemplate on this? Who is it who will easily be able to glide into the contemplation of the self? What is that kind of person? So we will see in verse number 38. Viviktadeshe asinaha
Viviktadeshe asinaha
Virago vijitendriyaha
Virago vijitendriyaha
Bhavayedekamatmanam
Bhavayedekamatmanam
Tamanam tamananyadhi
Tamanam tamananyadhi
Viviktadeshe asinaha
Virago vijitendriyaha
Bhavayedekamatmanam Tamanam tamananyadhi. Viviktadeshe, in a solitary place, asinaha, seated. Viraga, the one who is free from desire. Vijitendriyaha, who's controlled their senses. Havaye, meditate upon ekam atmanam, that oneself. Tamanantam, that which is boundless, infinite. Who can do it? Ananyadhi, the one who has unswerving attention. So let us see this. So where can I practice my contemplation? You had said what the nature of that contemplation is. What is the purpose of it? How to do it? Why should we do it? Where can I practice it? Vivikta deshe means in a solitary place. Sometimes we will do group meditation, guided meditation, that is fine. But when you do in your own homes, find a solitary place where you can just be. And it should be the same place all the time so that it already has that ambiance. So whenever you sit there, you're already set. You know, like when you go to the kitchen, you already feel like, okay, you have to cook. And then when you sit in your office desk, you feel like, okay, you're ready to work. So when you sit in that same place, in your own house, you feel like, okay, time to be quiet. It has to create that ambiance. So vivikta deshe, solitary place. And asinaha. So some people will say, can I meditate lying down? Can I meditate, Zen Shavasana and all of that? No, right? In yoga asanas, in that yoga prakriya, there is some yoga nidra that they do that is very different from what we're doing. What we're doing is not a headspace app or something that you download on YouTube, or what we're doing is it's not meditation as you traditionally see it. The meditation that they're doing is to lessen blood pressure and to calm the mind and to, do all of these things. Our meditation is to contemplate on the self and to abide in the self. It's of a very different nature. So it's not that something that we can do on the go. 2-minute meditation, 5-minute meditation. It's nothing like that at all. It's something way, way deeper. So please take it seriously. It's not an app. And it cannot be an app. Huh? Now, who is the person who can do this? Viraga. Someone who has vairagya. Someone who is free from desires. Meaning somebody who's not desiring the world anymore. You know why? Because when we have a desire, we cannot sit. Try sitting if you have a desire. Impossible. That desire will haunt you at your seat of meditation. You'll think, how do I fulfill that? If I get it, what will happen? If I don't get it, what happens? Should I desire it? Should I not desire it? Should I let it go? Should I not let it go? Your whole meditation will only be about this desire. There's no Brahman who's going to come in there. So one who has still lots of desires for the world, still lots of desires to do things out there, won't be able to sit. Then the question comes, then how be without desires or what? The best way is to surrender to Bhagavan and say, Bhagavan, whatever your desires are, you let it happen and just give me the strength to make your vision come alive. That's it. So then what happens is you have no agenda. It's Bhagavan who's working through you. So you don't have any that I want this, I want that, I want this, and you don't even get disturbed whether you're getting it, you're not getting it. That whole thing doesn't come because you just surrender and you say, Bhagavan, whatever you desire, let it happen. Just make me that instrument to let your vision happen. So, viraga. Vijitendriya. Vijitendriya means jita, means the one who has conquered their senses. So the one who is sitting down for meditation, contemplation, thinking, I want coffee, or I'm hungry, or I'm too sleepy, it doesn't work. Someone who is balanced in their daily living, someone who is able to have some kind of routine of their sleep, of their eating, of their day, that person alone is Vijitendriya, can sit. You see, or those of you who have studied Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, you would have seen, right? Who is the one who can sit? Not the one who sleeps too much, not the one who wakes up too much, not the one who eats too much, not the one who eats too less, not the one who's too active, not the one who's super inactive, but the one who is moderate, is a yogi, can sit down. Vijitendriya. And what else is the quality of this person? So we saw viragaha, we saw vijitendriyaha. Now we will see ananyadhihi. Means they have that capacity to be single-pointed and focused. Because when we're contemplating, nididhyasana also means sajatiya vritti pravaha, where your thoughts are going in one single pointed flow, and any other thoughts, if it goes out, you bring it back. Remember chapter 12, right? We said Abhyasa Yoga. If it goes out, you bring it back. If it goes out, you bring it back. Ananyadhi means I have that capacity to bring my thoughts to a single pointed thought flow. That even if they go out, I bring them back. Even if they go up, I bring them back. And what are you to do? Bhavayed ekam atmana. Contemplate on this self. This is the person who can contemplate. Yes? Okay. I think what we will do is I will summarize this. Then I will give you some discussion. Then we will sit and maybe have a contemplation after that. Okay, just to get your mind moving, right? So let's see what we've done today so far, so that it's very, very clear with everybody. So we started today with verse 34. And verse 34 was all of these different indicators of Brahman. Why? To make our mind more single-pointed, to make our mind more focused, to make our mind more subtle. Otherwise, where is it going to go? Into some TV show, into some this, into some that, right? So it's bringing us all of these indicators to make our mind subtler. So verse 34 to verse 36, we have seen that. In verse 37, what are we supposed to do with these indicators? We saw sit quietly. Sit quietly, dirghakala, for a long period of time, without any breaks, with deep reverence, sit and contemplate. Why should I do that? To remove the viparita bhavana, the erroneous notions that are still there, that I am jiva, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. So to remove those, that thought Brahman has to become a vasana and percolate deeply into my being, so that knowledge becomes my daily practice, becomes my daily living. And what does this do? It takes away all the vikshepa, all those erroneous notions, just like medicine cures diseases. Who is the one who can do this? Somebody who is viragha, somebody who doesn't anymore crave so much for the world outside. They can be in the silence within. Somebody who has mastered their senses to a great extent, who's vijitendriya, and somebody who's ananyadhiya, somebody who can single-pointedly focus on a thought. And what can I meditate sleeping or in shavasana? Asina. And where? Vivikta deshi, in a solitary place, in a quiet place, in the same space. And bhavayet ekamatmana, contemplate on that self and that self alone. What else do we have to do in life? No? Right? So this is what that full program of nididhyasana means. I won't go into the next verse because the next verse is a little bit heavy, so I want to stop here. Now your discussion, let's say for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, will be number one, what is the indicator that you feel you can contemplate on? You know, we saw nirguna, nishkriya, nityaha. What do you feel is that indicator to understand very well and can contemplate on? Number two is, how is Atma like space? Number three is, what are the obstacles that I face in nididhyasana? So for you personally, or if you even face the fact that it's hard to sit in nididhyasana, whatever, what are the challenges that one faces in nididhyasana? Question number 4. What are the obstacles in being a vairagi, or being able to let go of desire? What are the obstacles in trying to conquer my mind and senses? And what are the obstacles in trying to be single-pointed? So all those 3 qualities, I want to know, and I want you to discuss what those obstacles are and what those challenges are that you feel that are there. And then together we can discuss how to face that, how to combat them, And then after that, when things are clear in our mind, we can actually sit quietly. Okay? So we'll break some time. You can have an independent discussion. Let's just sit. It's a circle.
So the first one you want, like one indicator that we can, you think
Yeah.
we can contemplate on actually.
Yeah. That you all, and you can take a few moments to think, you know,
Right.
which you, yeah, which resonates with you most, because you should have some kind of indicator.
Anybody has a thought?
Yeah.
What form,
What do I contemplate on?
which indicator, what do you
Yeah.
think?
That I feel I can contemplate on. I can contemplate on being without any dirt. Because when I meditate,
Without any dirt.
which is Niranjana.
Niranjana.
That's what I realize when I do a lot of meditation, and also without any desire, in the sense like I definitely believe in living a very simple life. So for myself, I feel I can contemplate on that. But when it says thoughts, they do wander, or I can,
That may be correct without any
yeah,
desire.
yeah, so desire. I'm more of a contented person, so when I contemplate, I think I can cultivate that. That's what I feel for myself. The other, I'm too much not able to think myself as formless or liberated or that kind of. I don't think I can contemplate on those indicators yet. But I do realize this too. I can relate to Nirvikalpa and Niranjana.
And what about you? Anything you what do you think? I forget his first name. You know, Swati's husband, I can say. What is your first? Uday.
Well, I'm
Uday
fine
was
with
the-
what it is.